Hey folks, welcome back to another ORB retest video. We're looking at NASDAQ during the New York session in June, coming off of May being a 3R month, which puts us at 33R for the year. It's not bad for a completely mechanical strategy. Speaking of completely mechanical, here's a quick refresher on the rules in case it's your first time. We're looking for price to form a range over the first 15 minutes of our trading window. After that range is formed, we wait patiently for price to trade outside of that range. As soon as it does, we go ahead and place a limit order in the same direction as the breakout. This limit order gets placed on the midline of the range with a stop loss just outside of the range opposite to the breakout. For this strategy, we're targeting a reward of 3R. We're going to cancel any unfilled orders at 11:30 a.m. And lastly, we're only taking one trade per day. Let's hop right in with the first loss of the month. I say that just because it's basically tradition and we can just see that that's what happens here. So we break out down here, we place our short, place our stop loss up there, take profit over there, and we will mark this out with the highlighter to signify the loss. And we'll move on to the next day. So it looks like we kind of have just a no entry day. We'll mark it up just to triple check, but we break out right here. Our stop loss would be over here, but we just never get tagged in. So as you can see, during our trading window, it never gets filled and we just cancel it at 11:30. So we move on to the next day. Okay. Looks like we break out right there. So our entry breakout right here. Get our entry over here. Stop loss goes up there. And our take profit was actually fine, but I think this ends up being a loss. Yes, it does. So we'll mark this with the highlighter. It's okay, down 2 losses for the month so far, but it's easy to quickly recover with a 3R strategy. So we'll move on to the next day. And this ends up just being a ugly, choppy day, which results in a loss as well. It's okay, it happens. It's all part of it. Okay, I'll mark this down with the highlighter and just go on to the next day. Rough start to the month, but like I said, it's easy to recover. Man, we're just getting hammered, unfortunately. We break out right as soon as the range is done forming, and then we lose right here. So yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a rough month for the ORB, at least the retest strategy, or the retest variation of it. But yeah, we do the whole month, we see how it is, and like I keep saying, 3R is easy to recover, so we see what we get. I think we just missed getting tagged in here again, unfortunately. So yeah, we just miss it by a couple points, but yeah, it's unfortunate. Would have gone on to be a winner, but since we don't get tagged in, we are a no fill for the day. So we move on to the next day, where unfortunately we end up taking another loss, I think, here. Yeah, we get some bad news later on in the day, which just ends up driving price all the way down through our position, all the way through our stop loss, and just results in a bad loss on the day. But it's okay. It's part of the process. You take the bad months with the good months, and you just keep going. So we break out right here. We have our entry. And then we lose right over here. Mark it with the highlighter. And just go on to the next day. Just making sure I marked this one. Yep. I think there's one of those every video. Just like we lose the first day of every video, I think there's one of those every video too. So, all right. Looks like we finally get a bit of the probabilities playing out in our favor finally. Okay. I know it's a little bit further than the actual 3R, but it works. So yeah, we break out right here. The position gets tagged in right here. And then we win here regardless, whether it's 3R or not. Yep. We win right about there. So that's good. Make up a little bit of the ground. Let's move on to the next day and see what we get. Breakout right there. Get tagged in pretty quickly. And then take our loss just as quickly. So yeah, June. So yeah, so far June, not looking like our month for the retest variation of the opening range break on the 15-minute NAS. All right, so we mark it out with the highlighter. And even though this month is kind of really just kind of crap in the bed, we just move on and look for better things. Looks like we break out right here, but don't actually get the tag, unfortunately. So Just going to delete the position and move on to the next day. So we break out right here. So then we're going to get tagged in right about there. Lose the position right there. And that's okay. Like I said, we take our bad months with the good. Have been positive the whole year so far. And we'll see what kind of dent this puts in it. Yeah. This is just another unfortunate. All of our big moving days just don't come back to tag us in. So I guess we'll have to see how the breakout version of the strategy does. Yeah, seemingly the retest strategy is just not having a good month. So this good looks like our rule keeps us out of a loss here. That's okay. Then we will go on to the next day. So we break out right here. And unfortunately, as we've just kind of been having all month long so far, we just don't get tagged in when price breaks out violently like this. So that's okay. We take it in stride and we move on to the next day. It's all part of the process. So we break out right here. We retrace a little bit, but we just never make it back to this midline. Again, just kind of story of June. We either take a loss or just don't get filled on the breakaway runners. So let's move on to the next day. See what we get. Okay, so we definitely are going to get tagged in here. We break out there. We get tagged in right there. The stop loss is over here on the other side of the range. We target 3R and see what we get. Yep, this ends up being a winner, which is nice. Definitely does not redeem the entire month, but it's good to get some of it back. So let's move on and see how we do on the next day. So we break out right here. We place our short, get tagged in pretty quickly. Place the stop loss on the other side. Target 3R. Yep. And we win just a little bit before 11:30. It's good. Again, we're just kind of chipping away at the awful start of the month. So, yeah, have a few days left. Let's see how we do. We just keep going. Okay. So, unfortunately, here's a loss going short. Break out that way. And just take a loss. So, yeah. So, this is probably a good time worth bringing up that this is definitely the shortcoming of a mechanical strategy. We're not employing any sort of bias here, where you could use something like Fibonacci or a higher time frame, just market structure, to kind of make a bias for yourself, where you're saying, you know, oh, it's been long for the past 8 hours. I'm only going to take an opening range break if it's going to the long side. You know, that can be a very smart thing for you to do. It just injects a lot of subjectivity into the strategy, which for some people is a very easy thing to do. For other people, it's not a very easy thing to do. Definitely, I would say the goal that I'm trying to show off here with the opening range break strategy is more of a mechanical, non-biased version of something that you could do as a trader. So as soon as you start injecting subjectivity, you, of course, kind of bring the chance in for a higher win rate, a higher, you know, percentage of gain per winning trade, all sorts of things. You also introduce things like error and more misjudgment in how you're kind of approaching the trade on a trade by trade basis. So it's just something worth considering when you're deciding what kind of trader you want to be, or, you know, what kind of trader you want to be for this aspect of your trading. You know, something that I've talked about a couple of times and something that I'm heavily looking into for my trading is kind of automating some of this stuff. You know, one of the awesome things about mechanical trading is the ability to just program a robot to do it for you. When you take the subjectivity out of something, you can code it. For lack of better terms, you can just kind of create it as an automated process for just bot trading, essentially. So it's just something to consider. So let's go ahead and zoom out and see how we did on the month. This is definitely going to be our first losing month, and just take it in stride and see how we did overall. All right, let's tally it up. We are 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, 1-6, 1-7, 1-8, 2-8, 3-8, 3 and 9 and 3 and 10. So with all said and done, we end up being 3 wins on the month and 10 losses, which is 9R up and 10R down. Is a minus 1R month. Grand scheme, that's not awful when you've got a 33R year coming into this month, and coming out of this month, we're only at 32R. It's really not bad. That being said, if you started trading this month, this isn't a fun month. This was, a bad drawdown month for the first, 10 days of the month was just awful drawdown. Not fun at all to trade. Really a test of your mental fortitude to stick with a process if you started trading it this month. So that being said, we hope that next month ends up being at least a little bit better, if not just downright awesome. So thank you for sticking around. If you have any questions about the strategy, make sure to leave a comment. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the cause. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the next one.